People ask the question, who's a Premier League legend? And I tell them, it's not about goals, wins and trophies and shithousery or iconic moments, oh no. There's more there than that, my friend. We all like a bit of the good life, some the money, some the skittles, other the vodka, the glamour or the fame. But a Premier League legend, oh, he's different. Why? Because a real Premier League legend wants the fucking lot.
This is Jamie Vardy!
Sup guys, I wanted to make something on Jamie Vardy and I had a sore throat, so I made a faceless video. Hope you enjoy this.
Ever wonder how a factory worker rejected for being too small outran everyone to become a Premier League god? Jamie Vardy's story will blow your mind. Buckle up because we're about to dive into the insane story of Jamie Vardy, a guy who went from scoring goals in front of a few mates to hoisting the Premier League trophy. This isn't just a football tale, it's a roller coaster of grit, guts, and a few cans of Red Bull. You'll hear how Vardy climbed from the muddy pitches of non-league to the bright lights of Leicester City, why he almost quit, and the one moment that made him an icon. Trust me, you're gonna want to know how this underdog flipped the script on football's biggest stage. Picture a skinny kid from Sheffield, dreaming of football fame while kicking a ball around on cracked concrete. That's Jamie Vardy, born January 11th, 1987 in a rough part of town. He wasn't born with a silver spoon or a fancy academy contract. Nope, Vardy was just another kid with big dreams and bigger hurdles. At 16, Vardy faced a crushing blow that could have ended his football dreams before they began. As a youth player at Sheffield Wednesday, his boyhood club, he poured his heart into proving he belonged. But in 2003, the academy coaches cut him loose, bluntly telling him he was too small and lacked the physicality for professional football. For a kid who lived and breathed the game, this rejection was like a punch to the gut. Most teenagers would have walked away, their confidence shattered. Most would have given up, but Vardy, he was built different. This setback forced Vardy to pivot to junior football with Wickersley Youth, a local side far removed from the professional game. Without the structure of an academy, he had to rely on his own discipline to keep improving, playing on rough pitches with minimal coaching. The rejection also meant no clear path to professional football, pushing him into the working world earlier than many of his peers. He later admitted the rejection stung, but made him determined to prove the doubters wrong. With no academy contract, Vardy needed to support himself. After leaving school, he took a job at a factory in Sheffield, making carbon fiber splints and medical braces. The work was physically taxing, 12-hour shifts, often on his feet, for meager pay. At Stocksbridge Park Steels, where he played in the Northern Premier League Division 1 South, which is the 8th tier, he earned just £30 a week. This was barely enough to cover boots and travel to games, let alone live comfortably. We're talking £30 a week, tiny crowds, and pitches that look like swamps. The financial strain meant Vardy couldn't focus solely on football. He juggled training and matches with long work hours, often surviving on cheap meals like pot noodles and energy drinks, a precursor to his famous Red Bull habit. The lack of resources also limited his exposure to scouts, as non-league clubs like Stocksbridge rarely attracted attention from higher divisions. Every goal he scored was a shout into the void, hoping someone would notice, but man, could he play. His speed was like a cheetah's and he had this knack for sniffing out goals. In 2007, at age 20, Vardy faced a significant off-field challenge that threatened to derail his fledgling career. While playing for Stocksbridge, he got into an altercation outside a Sheffield pub, defending a friend who was being mocked for wearing a hearing aid. The incident escalated, and Vardy was charged with assault, occasioning actual bodily harm. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to a 6-month electronic tagging order, requiring him to wear an ankle tag and adhere to a nightly curfew, along with 20 hours of community service and a £200 compensation payment. The tag was a logistical nightmare for a semi-professional footballer. Stocksbridge's evening matches, especially away games, often clashed with his curfew. Vardy had to race home after games to avoid breaching the order, sometimes leaving teammates mid-celebration. The community service, likely tasks like cleaning or manual labor, added another layer of exhaustion to his already packed schedule of work and football. Beyond the practical challenges, the conviction carried a stigma. In the tight-knit non-league scene, a criminal record could scare off clubs looking for reliable players. Vardy later called this period one of his lowest, admitting he felt he'd let down his family and risked his future. But ain't no way he wasn't letting a mistake stop him. Between 2007 and 2010, he banged in around 6 goals for Stocksbridge, turning heads in the non-league scene. By 2010, Vardy's talent was too big for Stocksbridge, and he signed with FC Halifax Town in the 7th tier for a small fee. This was his first real shot. He didn't just take it, he owned it. In his debut season, he scored 25 goals, including 22 in the league, and was named Players' Player of the Year. Halifax won the title, and Vardy was the star, tearing up defenses with his pace and hunger. Next stop, Fleetwood Town in the Conference Premier, the 5th tier, for £150,000 in 2011. At 24, he was finally making a living from football, and boy did he deliver. He smashed 31 goals in 36 league games, leading Fleetwood to the conference title and promotion to League Two. Scouts were buzzing, and in May 2012, Leicester City took a £1 million gamble on the non-league kid. Fans laughed. $1 million for a nobody? They wouldn't laugh for long. Non-league football itself was a relentless challenge. From Stocksbridge to FC Halifax Town to Fleetwood Town, Vardy played in the lower tiers of English football, levels 5 through 8, where conditions were tough and rewards were slim. Pitches were often uneven or waterlogged, facilities were basic, think cold showers and cramped changing rooms, and crowds were small, sometimes fewer than 100 fans. At Stocksbridge, Vardy played for passion, not pay, facing opponents who were often bigger, older, and more physical. As a slight, speedy striker, he took a battering from defenders, but had to keep getting up. The non-league schedule was unforgiving too. Midweek games meant Vardy often went straight from factory shifts to matches, with little time for rest or proper training. Injuries were a constant risk, and without access to professional physios, recovery was slow. For example, Vardy relied on makeshift remedies like ice packs, and, later, his infamous Skittles-flavored vodka, which didn't exactly speed up healing. The lack of structure also meant he had to self-motivate, honing his game without the coaching or analytics available to academy players. Despite these challenges, Vardy's talent shone through. He scored prolifically, earning promotions at each club. But the constant grind tested his resilience. Every step up brought fiercer competition and higher expectations with no guarantee of success.
This is Jamie Vardy.
Vardy's early days at Leicester, then in the Championship, were rocky. The jump from non-league to professional football was like going from a go-kart to a Ferrari. He doubted himself, missed chances, and even thought about quitting. Off the pitch, he was still rough around the edges, once slowing his recovery from an injury by chugging a 3-liter bottle of vodka mixed with Skittles. Classic Vardy, wild, unfiltered, and one of a kind. But he adapted. In his second season, he scored 16 goals, helping Leicester win promotion to the Premier League in 2014. The stage was set for something nobody saw coming. The 2014-15 season was Leicester's return to the top flight, and everyone expected them to crash out. Vardy, still finding his feet, had moments of magic, like a 5-3 win over Manchester United where he scored and set up 2 goals, embarrassing stars like Wayne Rooney, Robin van Persie, Angel Di Maria. But he struggled for consistency. With just 2 goals by April, Leicester were dead last, staring at relegation. Then something sparked. Vardy and the team went on a tear, winning 7 of their last 9 games. Vardy's goals, including a last-gasp winner against West Brom, kept Leicester up, and he earned his first England call-up. The kid from the factory was now a Premier League player and an England international. Now, let's talk 2015-16, the season that broke football. Leicester, managed by Claudio Ranieri, were 5,000-1 underdogs to win the Premier League. That's like betting on a snail to win a 100-meter sprint. But Vardy, alongside Riyad Mahrez's tricks and N'Golo Kanté's endless running, had other plans. Vardy's game was simple. Sprint past defenders, finish with ice-cold precision, and celebrate like he owned the place. Boy, could he celebrate and bring the place down. He scored in 11 straight Premier League games, breaking Ruud van Nistelrooy's record. By December, he was Player of the Month, and Leicester were somehow top of the table. Vardy ended the season with 24 goals, winning the Premier League Player of the Season and Football Writers Association Footballer of the Year awards. The world was shook. How was this non-league reject outscoring the biggest names in football? But legends aren't made without battles, and Vardy's fairy tale hit some bumps. By February 2016, the pressure was crushing. Leicester were defying history, but Vardy went 3 games without scoring. Pundits started whispering, was this a fluke? Could a guy with no fancy training handle the spotlight? Then came a bigger blow. In April, Vardy got sent off against West Ham for a second yellow card, risking a ban that could kill Leicester's title hopes. The media jumped on him, digging up his past, like that 2007 pub fight or a 2015 casino incident where he used a racial slur and had to apologize. People questioned his discipline, his character, everything. And the biggest question loomed: could Leicester, a club nobody rated, actually hold on and win the league? The weight of a city's dreams was on Vardy's shoulders. Vardy didn't just face the storm, he danced in it. After his suspension, he came back roaring, scoring twice in a 4-0 thrashing of Swansea. He didn't care about the critics. He taunted fans, smashed corner flags, and played with a fire nobody could match. His secret? He stayed true to himself. While other stars sipped fancy smoothies, Vardy was downing Red Bull and hosting team parties with Stella Artois. Leicester's style, defend deep, counter fast, let Vardy finish, was unstoppable. As the season wound down, the world was hooked. Fans from Tokyo to Toronto cheered for the underdogs. Vardy's story hit home because it was real. A guy who'd been told he was nothing, proving he was everything. By May, Leicester needed just a few points to make history, and Vardy was ready to seal the deal. May 2nd, 2016, the night football changed. Leicester didn't even need to play. Tottenham, their last rivals, faced Chelsea. A draw or loss, and the title was Leicester's. Vardy and his teammates piled into his house, cracking open drinks and watching the game. When Chelsea clawed back from 2-0 down to draw 2-2, Vardy's living room turned into a madhouse. Leicester City, the 5001 nobodies, were Premier League champions. Vardy, the factory kid from Sheffield, had 24 goals and a title to his name. He stood there, arms raised, grinning like he just won a bet against the world. That moment, pure, impossible joy, is why we love football. Vardy's story didn't stop in 2016. He kept rewriting the book. In the one, he won the FA Cup, becoming the first player to play every round from the preliminaries to the final. At 33, he nabbed the Premier League Golden Boot in 2019-20, the oldest ever to do it. Over 13 years at Leicester, he scored 98 goals in 494 games, making him the club's all-time top scorer. Even when Leicester got relegated in 23, Vardy stayed loyal, turning down big clubs to help them bounce back. In Web, he made headlines by blowing the ref's whistle to stop a game when the official got hurt. Quick thinking from a guy who's always been more than just a striker. Here are some of the players Vardy has outscored in the Premier League: Didier Drogba, Cristiano Ronaldo, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Dwight York, Fernando Torres, Luis Suarez, Dennis Bergkamp, Nicolas Anelka, Romelu Lukaku. And remember, Vardy made his Premier League debut at 27. I remember when anyone over 30 was a veteran. Then you started to get players who were 37 and still playing up front, the likes of Les Ferdinand and Teddy Sheringham, but they'd be practically walking around the pitch. Since turning 30, he has scored 10 Premier League goals, more than any other player, overtaking Ian Wright's record in May 2022. So is that why Jamie Vardy is a Premier League icon? It's not just the goals or the shiny trophies, it's the journey. From a kid rejected for being too small to a legend who proves size doesn't matter. It's the 2016 miracle when he led a team of underdogs to the greatest upset in sports history. It's the fact that he's still the same Vardy, drinking Red Bull, winding up defenders, and playing with the heart of a non-league scrapper. Leicester's title is a story we'll tell for generations, and Vardy's the hero at its core. He's living proof that if you fight hard enough, you can turn dreams into reality, no matter where you start. We don't know if Jamie will stay in the Premier League or make a move abroad, but one thing's for sure, there never will be another Jamie Vardy. If you enjoyed the video, please do like it and subscribe to the channel.